Rick Wiles is a conservative radio host and a fundamentalist Christian, and he spoke about the Ebola epidemic on his show, and wow, did he provide us with the most loathsome comment of the week.
You know, this Ebola epidemic could become a global pandemic, and that's another name for plague. It may be the great attitude adjustment that I believe is coming. Ebola could solve America's problems with atheism, homosexuality, sexual promiscuity, pornography, and abortion. If Ebola becomes a global plague, you better make sure the blood of Jesus is upon you. You better make sure you've been marked by the angels so that you're protected by God. If not, you may be a candidate to meet the Grim Reaper.
Crazy people. Crazy people. You know what I was thinking as I was listening to that? Imagine, now look, the Ayatollah in Iran says a lot of crazy shit. But if he said that, we would declare war. We would declare war. You know, oh, the great Satan in America, just letting you know, we think Ebola solves your problems of atheism, homosexuality, and pornography. But if it's a conservative radio host, fucking crickets. It gets picked up by like Right Wing Watch and fucking a few other progressive blogs, and it just fucking simmers out. You want to know why? Because we criticize our own much more leniently than we criticize other crazy people. I'm telling you, if that was a guy speaking in a Middle Eastern accent, speaking in a different language, oh my God, ring the alarm, fucking terrorist. But this guy says it. Did you hear his points? Well, Ebola solves, his words, solves all of our problems in America. Atheism, homosexuality, and pornography. All right, let's go one by one here. Ebola solves atheism. Solves atheism. I love how much hatred can stem from somebody because somebody disagrees with them about the question of religion and God. Right? Like, look, I totally disagree with Christians and Muslims and Hindus and all these different religions. I don't want you to get Ebola and die. I disagree with you. I don't want to murder you. I don't want to see you struggle and hemorrhage from every orifice in your body, including your anus. Okay? But see, there's no off switch in their mind. There's no nuance. There's no rationality. There's no thinking. It's just, if I disagree with you, fuck it. You could get Ebola and die. I don't give a shit because you don't agree with me on shit. And ironically, it's a sign of weakness, right? It's a sign of insecurity because they know in a toe-to-toe debate and discussion, well, they would get their ass kicked. You think this guy could sit there and have an intellectual discussion with anybody who's an atheist or an agnostic or a secular person? They would get their ass kicked. It would be a legendary embarrassment for him. So what you want to do, just kill them all. Let Ebola kill them all. Because you're rational enough to admit that you don't know as to if there's a God and what happens when you die, I want you to die. Because you acknowledge reality. You acknowledge what happens with all of us. We all know that we don't know, right? Well, I want you to die because of that. You not knowing means you don't believe in a God. My God particularly. So I want you to die and get Ebola. And you hate gays that much, dude? Really? Really? It makes me think, well, what goes on in your mind when you think about other dudes? Are you a self-hater like the rest of these guys are who are anti-gay? You want gay people to get Ebola and die. See, this happens when it was HIV and AIDS too. They said the same thing. Oh, that's the cure. They would say, oh, gayness is the sin and the problem. AIDS and HIV is the cure. That's from God. They're saying the same thing with Ebola. Because you like somebody of the same sex, because you're attracted to people that have the same genitals as you, die. Very open-minded, very Christ-like, might I add. I love the irony of this guy. Oh, I love Christ. I love Jesus. Anyway, I want everybody to die that doesn't agree with me. Right. That would only be the last thing Jesus Christ would ever argue for, and probably my favorite. Well, if we get Ebola, that's the cure, and it solves pornography. Solves pornography. I'm sorry, but when it comes to Christians, no, I'm not sorry, but they're anti-human nature. Because we all know, I mean, what percentage of the population is asexual? If I'm being overly generous, 1%, maybe 1% is asexual. So over 90% of people all around the world, they have sexual urges, they want to get off, right? In a variation of different ways. We're all sexual beings. It's literally what perpetuates the species, right? And, of course, everybody's into pornography. We all get horny, okay? But he says, no, that's the problem. The problem is pornography, and the cure is Ebola. Well, you're basically saying the problem is all humanity. What, do you just want asexuals left, and then they won't reproduce, and then all humanity will die off? I guess that's what you want. I guess you want everybody to die because we have natural sexual urges. To me, that's as stupid as somebody saying, I want you to die because you like to eat. Eating is a biological function. It's a natural urge. It's in our genetics. It's in our DNA. It's in our biology. It's part of our physiology. I mean, what should people die because they eat? Should people die because they shit and piss and breathe? Die because you like pornography, you like sex. Rick Wiles and these fundamentalist Christians, they are my enemy. They are immoral, they are unethical, and most importantly, they are beyond moronic and idiotic to the point that I honestly think if I were to sit down and have a conversation with a 6-year-old, they would be more intelligent than Rick Wiles.